Today I'm going to be comparing the Nikon D90 with my Canon 550D T2i. This review today will be strictly on their video capabilities. The Nikon D90 weighs in at 1 pound 6 ounces. It's sprayed with a rubber grip. It also has rubber padding on different locations to help with grip as well. It comes with an LCD protecting screen that clips on. It has an information screen on the top which tells you information such as the battery life and how many photos you can take and how much recording time is left. You have all the typical other buttons on the camera, but overall it feels extremely sturdy in your hand. You don't feel like you're gonna break it. On the other hand, you have the smaller Canon T2i. It weighs in at 1 pound 1 ounce and it feels much cheaper in your hand. It's much more lightweight, which could be a good thing if you're using things like a Gorilla Pod. It doesn't come with an information screen like the Nikon D90 does. There's no protective screen with this one. So overall, the Nikon D90 scores much higher on the build quality. The Nikon D90 has limited movie recording modes. If you go into the movie settings here, you'll notice that there are only 3 options: 720p at 24 frames per second, 640 by 424, which is virtually standard definition, so quite limited. But mind you, this camera came out in 2008 and was the very first DSLR camera to have HD video capability. There are 5 different movie recording size options. There's the typical 1080p 30 frames per second if you want to get those really nice fluid shots. It does have the 24 option, which is really nice though if you want to be making more movie cinematic like videos. If you want to do some really fluid slow motion shots, you can drop it down to the 720p at 60 frames per second and use frame blending in a different program like Final Cut or Motion. It also gives you the option of standard definition or a crop feature, which is really nice, which I think it's 7 times the zoom capability without distorting the image size. So there's lots of capability here that you would like to see in a very high-end professional camera. Takes obviously standard SD cards, and I think it says that you can use class 4 to class 6 for this camera. And on a 16 gigabyte card, you're going to get approximately 2 hours of video recording at 720p. For the Canon T2i, because of the full HD video recording modes as well as different 60 frames per second modes, you're going to need to have a much higher class of card. This one is a class 10, and I still find that it will stop recording midway if I try to take a snapshot or a still image during recording, or if I move the camera too violently while filming, it will stop and you'll have to restart. I would recommend a minimum of class 10, probably even higher, and a well-known brand name is probably for the best. You're going to get about 49 minutes recording time on the Canon T2i, and despite any of the HD modes. The Nikon D90 does not have the option of an external microphone jack. It simply records using stereo input from these 3 small holes here. So if you click one of my other videos on Zoom H1 versus the Nikon D90, you'll hear the difference between the external mic versus just the internal mic here. And if you do use an external mic, you're gonna have to sync it up in post-production. The Canon T2i has the option of an external microphone jack, which is a deal breaker for me when I'm purchasing a camera. A lot of the new Nikons do not even have this feature, and you need to go to a much more expensive camera to obtain this feature. And I purchased a little hot shoe mount, and it will plug right into the top of the camera just like this. So when I do my recording now, I don't have to link things up in post-production. It speeds things up a lot. Neither the Nikon D90 or the Canon T2i have image stabilization built into the bodies of the cameras. They are strictly in the lenses. Now, This lens is not a kit lens, so I'm not able to test the difference between both cameras. Although I must say that without it, you can notice a huge difference because this is a kit lens, and you can turn the image stabilization on and it does make a huge difference. In the Nikon D90 they call it the vibration reduction, and again with the Canon it's IS, or image stabilization. So I hope you enjoyed this review between the Nikon D90 and the Canon T2i. Hope it's helpful. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and check out my other videos on the T2i, the Nikon D90, and the review between the Zoom H1 and the Nikon D90 microphone.